welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back. If you're new, my name is Oinda, and this channel is me documenting all my reads. And so, for this video, I decided that I wanted to talk, recommend some beginner, some beginner sci-fi books because, I don't know if it's just me, but I found science fiction to be very daunting and it was like scary. I was like, they're going to talk about like physics and stuff, and just like, who wants to read about physics? But I feel like with these books, while they are like hard concepts, but not necessarily hard concepts, but like more advanced concepts, but they are not like necessary. They are important to the plot, but they're not very difficult to grasp. Yes, that's what I mean. And at the end of the day, you can still enjoy the story without the necessarily grasping the concepts. Anyway, so yeah, just wanted to make this video in case there's anybody who was like, out there, maybe it's like who found science fiction a bit daunting, and then I was just like, yeah, let me make some recs because that was me in the beginning. Anyway, so the first book I'll be recommending is Project Hail Mary. I think this is actually the first science fiction book I read, and so it follows this man who basically we follow him. He wakes up, he's on a ship, all his like crews, what you call them, his crew is dead. He has no memory of why he's on the ship. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't remember anything at all, why he's there. He doesn't remember his own name. And so we basically follow him, try to figure out why is he on this ship, what happened to his crewmates, all that. I really like this one. I found the character, I like the character sense of humor. I like the humor in this book. It may not work for everybody, but it works for me. And I think what really grounds this story is because there's some science stuff that I definitely didn't understand, but then honestly, I think what makes the story is following the character. Like, it's just so easy to root for him. Just like, I just want him to, figure out what is going on and just want him to succeed. And when he overcomes every little problem that comes his way, I'm just like, yes! So yeah, I think even if you don't really understand what's happening, like with the science stuff, I think that you'll be fine. Also, there was like a plot twist here that I did not see coming. I was like, no. And it's just like a very heartwarming book at the end of it. So yeah, give it a chance. I also know that this author wrote The Martian. Now, did I watch The Martian? I watched the movie, but not read the book. But some people say that if The Martian is better than this. I don't know. I haven't read The Martian yet. I actually do want to as well. And again, it's a standalone, just to step your I don't want to introduce a longer series. So just standalone and done. But yeah, I watched The Martian. I really liked it. I think in The Martian, I'm trying to see what I remember from the movie. They go to Mars. Something happens and he's stuck on Mars alone and he has to figure out how he's going to survive. And so yeah, I found that one really good. I found the movie. I haven't read the book, but I think it follows it either way. So if you check out Project Hail Mary, and you like it, you could also read The Martian as well by the same author. Then the next one I want to recommend is The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. Yes. So these are like a bunch of novellas. No, it's a series. They are novellas and there are also a couple of full-length novels, but I think like the first 4 or 5 books are novellas. I've only read the first 2. So we're following Murderbot, as you can tell from the name. And so Murderbot is I would call her a cyber. But she's a bot, but she has human parts as well, and as the name implies, so she's a security bot. Anyway, so she basically in the first book we're following her on an assignment, and then it seems that there's sabotage, and then she has to Murderbot has to figure out what's going on and keep her crew that she was sent to protect alive, basically. Honestly, the star also, and we know that there's this like big corporation and there's definitely a lot to be revealed, but again, it's a novella, it's short, you can breeze through it very quickly. The star of the show again is Murderbot. Like, Murderbot just wants to watch her TV programs, her shows all day. She doesn't want to interact with people. Murderbot doesn't have time for all this, and honestly, Same. So I think the real star of the show is Murderbot. And I think if you like Murderbot, then you definitely want to go on with the series. Honestly, I keep the series as um maybe when I have exams and I don't want to read anything too long, but I just want to always be reading something. So that's like one of my series that I'm not super in a rush. I'm not in a massive rush to move on to the next, but it's always just there. I can always go back to it whenever I'm just in the mood for something. So yeah, Murderbot Diaries, I would highly recommend. Then the next book I want to recommend is Velocity Weapon by Megan E. O'Keefe. So this is the first book in the Protectorate trilogy. I've only read the first one, but the first one was so good, so I'm going to recommend it. I haven't had time to continue with the series. Anyway, so in the Velocity Weapon, we're following this character. Her name is Sanda, and so she wakes up in this ship and spaceship, and we find that the sentient AI and the ship basically tells her that her world has been destroyed. And we follow her, try to figure out, what's happening, what's up. Yeah, this book was definitely like very twisty. I was just like, whoa, we're going. And then we follow like 3 points of views, and then it's just nice to see how everything comes together. I want to tell you more, but honestly, I feel like the less you know going into it, the better. And yeah, I would recommend that. But I definitely, yeah. And also, Sandra, the main character, she's just so capable. She's such a badass. It's just like I loved following her so much. She has my heavy POV. Yeah, and also a really cool thing. So because of something that happens, she basically has a disability because like her leg has been cut off, was amputated, and it's just the way it's represented. It's like obviously this is something that affects her life, but she's still able to we see her work around it, and it's not like just this debilitating thing that just cripples her. She can't do anything, but she can actually run. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. So yeah, Velocity Weapon. I know I did say, but really, it's so good. I promise. I'm not telling you a lot so that I don't spoil it. But honestly, it's such a the science fiction concepts are not really they're not complicated at all, to be honest. And I think we'll probably even expand more on it in the sequels. But yeah, I think it's something that again, that's the point of all these recommendations. But yeah, so give that one a shot. The next book I want to recommend is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. This is the first book. Did I say that already? This is the Scythe is the first book in the arc of a Scythe trilogy by Neil Schusterman. So we have this world where death is the only thing that is left to control. They figured out everything, all the information that human beings need to know. We've reached peak knowledge. Can extend life. People can even how to use the word properly. Give me a second. They can revert their ages and start again. So, but obviously, as people aren't, dying naturally because all the natural causes have been removed, the population is growing, and we need to keep the population at a certain level so that there are still resources for everyone. So, this is where this is where the Scythes come in. So the Scythes are mandated to kill people, and they're basically above the law. And so we follow these 2 teenagers who apprentice under a Scythe. And yeah, so basically just follow this utopia kind of, and it really brings up a lot of interesting questions. The idea of if we've reached, how do I say this? If we've reached the peak, what then is life? Because again, with this story, I'm trying to put the concepts properly. Give me a second. But now there's no urgency to do anything because people live absurdly long lives, and you can easily revert your age back. So where's the urgency? Where's the sense of, I just see how that affects the situation. I also liked how we saw, corruption, because these people are basically, these sides are above the lawyer, and we see how that plays out, and with, some corruption, should some people really be above the law? Stuff like that. Yeah, and how dying and even death, I don't know. It's just basically lacking that sense of urgency, and how, because you have limited time, how that, pushes you to live and want to be remembered and things like that. But when we take that away, what society are we left with? Yes, that's what I've been trying to say for the past minute. But yeah, so it was really good. It really posed a lot of questions. I love following Citra and Roman. Those are the 2 apprentices. And yeah, it definitely escalates and definitely like yeah. Pick. Yes, so Arc of a Scythe, you should read it, it's really good. Yeah, and I'll be continuing with the series this month. Yes. Oh, and we get like benevolent AI. So there's this AI. It's called Thunderhead, and it's in charge of everything. And I can't wait to find out more about that because I don't know. Just the idea of benevolent AI. I don't know. It's very anyway. Yeah. Then the next book I'll be recommending is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. So in this book, we follow April May, who she's going back home from work. She stumbles upon this statue. She takes a video with her friend, posts it, goes viral online. Because these statues have appeared in cities all around the world, and she was the first person to, make contact. And so we find out that she actually had first contact with aliens. And so this book is less about the aliens and more of how people would respond to first contact with aliens. Like if people got like definitive proof that aliens existed. And also it follows April May because she basically becomes a viral sensation. She kind of becomes a spokesperson for the crowds, and we see how that affects her, how fame changes her, how it sort of dehumanizes her. We see how the importance of, like how crafting your words and having sway on people and all that, how that, changes a person and takes a toll on them. Yeah, but I will warn you that April May is not very likable. I like to call her a disaster girly. She's definitely she just makes she's like, oh, what are you doing? But then I think what helped for me is she tells her story. So she's telling basically the way it's written is that she's telling her story in the future. She's telling us past events, and so maybe seeing her like reflect on her bad decisions makes it easier for me to be okay with it. But again, if you're like really allergic to unlikable characters, yeah, she's not very likable. So I'm just warning you now in case that's something that. But honestly, I really like what this book had to say about fame and its impact and all that. So yeah, give it a shot if you like. And the last book I'll be recommending is Noor by Nnedi Okorafor. And so we have this woman who has been technologically enhanced, and she goes by AO because of artificial organism. And so we follow her, and then basically something happens and she has to go on the run. And so she goes into the desert, and we see her strike this unlikely friendship with somebody who's also running away from something. And then we just see them go and then try to find a safe space, basically. And this book really like critiques like big corporations, the greed of corporations, how far they'll go, and just even like having these corporations being in charge, like this very, very much a capitalist critique. And it was really good. It's also quite short as well. I'm just like lots of the books I'm recommending are not really long. It's quite short as well. So I would call it a subgenre. I'm not really sure it's a subgenre, but Afrofuturism. And so it takes place in Nigeria. And as a Nigerian, that was very nice to see. It took a bit of getting used to be honest. But even, and I like, there's something to describe the attitudes of, like, maybe like in this book, of how people are not very receptive to her. And honestly, it's something that I can imagine that people back home would not, in Nigeria, would not be very, very open and welcoming towards people who have like, implants, cybernetic implants, and, technologically enhanced people. So yeah, that really made sense. And yeah, just the way it just like critiques big corporations and the greed and how far they can go and how they can pit people to each other was just really done well. And this was my first book by Nnedi Okorafor, and I definitely plan to read more. So if you've ever wanted to read Afrofuturism, I think you should give it a try. And yeah, okay, no, I'm not done. So there are a couple that I haven't read, but I've heard that these are great beginner sci-fis. These are on my TBR, so these are ones I actually want to read. So just in case, you could read them together. If you've read them, let me know if you've read, if it was any good. So the first one is Fina. I think it's Fina by Nino Cipri. I'll put a picture up there, and in case I said the wrong name. And from what I remember, because I think I saw this in a some recommendations video somewhere. All I remember is um we're following this woman at work, and then all of a sudden a black hole opens, and then because she's the latest worker, she has to go through the black hole and rescue somebody or something. Yeah, so it's supposed to be kind of like witty, kind of funny. So there's that. Then I want to read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. And so I know in this number will follow Spencer, who wants to be a pilot, a space pilot, space fighter. I don't know. Anyway, and I know in this world, her planet that she lives on is attacked by these aliens, and they don't really know why or what's happening. But she wants to be a pilot and fight. But it's difficult for her because her father was branded a traitor, and so she's kind of working against that, and we just follow that. And I've heard really good things, so there's that as well. And the last book I want that's on my TBR that is Mickey 7. And I know in this one we follow Mickey, who is an expendable, and so basically if something goes wrong or there's a dangerous mission, they said Mickey, if he dies, they just make a new clone, import the consciousness in, and move on. But something happens, and Mickey 7 survives. So Mickey 7 is supposed to be dead, but then so they make an 8th clone, but then Mickey 7 survived, and so Mickey 7 has to hide because you shouldn't have two clones are not allowed to be present at the same time. So yeah, so these are some of the sci-fi recs that I think are very friendly for beginners, and also some that I want to read. And yeah, please let me know if you end up picking any of them based on my recommendation. Let me know if you like them. If you didn't, please let's just discuss. Like, share, subscribe if you would like. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great reading week ahead. Okay, bye.